Hey y'all, I'm Mike with Interacts. I got a video today about hair and we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be good though. Alright y'all, let's get it on. Expect nothing, appreciate everything. Alright.
Hey everybody and welcome back. Today I have a client with extreme damage. She told me that her hair was like the worst that it's ever been.
Okay y'all, check this out. She's saying that the girl told her her hair is the worst it's ever been. Now if you take a look at what's going on with her hair, we notice she has about 3 to 6 months or maybe more of new growth. So the hair is severely damaged because she didn't really take care of the roots while the hair was growing out. So it's easy to break your ends off when you have a lot of new growth in your hair. So let's see where this goes.
If you look at it, you can see these ends. Look at this. You can see right through it. It's pretty dense in the roots, but the ends are very stringy. She's saying this from heat, but she wants heat again today, which is not a problem because what I always tell people is heat is not the enemy. It's just lack of knowledge on how to use it is.
Okay, so I agree with the stylist right here. Heat is not an enemy. A lot of people think heat is the enemy. No, it's not diabolical. So basically, you just got to know what you're doing when it comes to applying the heat. You got to know how to have your setting just right with the flat iron and also with the products that you're using, that you prep the hair up, that your hair able to tolerate the heat. So fam, when you're using heat, just have the right instructions and have the right knowledge when you're using heat. All right, let's get back to the video.
So we're going to get her hair together today. She showed me a picture of a bob, but from the looks of things now, it might not be able to do a bob. But once you blow dry it, it could be a different story because we all know that the shrinkage is very real. I'm going to take my royalty sprayer and I'm going to spray her hair down to make sure that it's wet enough so that's easy to comb through to get the blow dry process much easier for us. You know, we never use heat without going in with our satin serum and applying.
That's what I was saying earlier about once you get ready to blow dry the hair, you want to set the hair up. In this case, you use a hair serum. Also, there's some other things you could use besides hair serum. If you're one of those person that you really don't like silicone on the hair, you could use more like a water-soluble, water-based detangler spray or either a cream. But just be knowledgeable that you don't have to use silicone hair serum all the time.
And that all over the hair, a little bit goes a long way. A lot of people are like, that little bit for the hair? Like, yes, when I'm finished, it's always product left on my hand. And you don't ever want to use too much because then it's going to weigh the hair completely down. Now I'm going to go through her hair with this big shampoo comb, wide tooth comb, whatever kind of comb you need. Just make sure that the teeth are very wide because it's less stress on the hair and to make this process very easy. You want to make sure you're always gentle, especially with the comb out process, because this is when the hair is most weak. So you want to make sure that you are taking your time so you don't break any unnecessary strand.
So you're out there who's not really familiar with detangling hair. She said something that made a point there that you want to make sure you part the hair well and use a wide tooth comb. Also, my thing is, if you're going to part the hair in small sections, just know you are able to do that. You're allowed to do that. Just make sure you saturate the hair more with a detangler spray or either a detangling cream. And she's using a wide tooth comb. That's great to use a wide tooth comb. But you can use a slightly smaller comb as well if that's all you have in your arsenal, in your drawer, wherever you at. But it's fine to use a smaller comb too. You just don't want to use a small comb like a rat tail. You know, the rat tail, we have those millimeters between the space of the teeth of the comb, so you definitely don't want to use a too small a comb. I call those snatch hooks because you can snatch your hair right out your head if you're using the combs that's too small. So fam, keep that in mind.
It's because every strand counts. So I'm just going to go in with my favorite dryer and my favorite brush, and I'm going to blow her hair out. So on the last video, we started a question segment, and I am going to do that again on this video.
I like how the stylist using a paddle brush to blow dry the hair, well as she taking her time with the paddle brush. That's really good to use. Just be careful when you're using those brushes. Some of y'all that like to use those polyester brushes. Normally those polyester brushes, it can become very damaging to the hair. So just keep that in mind when you're using a brush. It's good to use a paddle brush, the ones with the little ball beads on top, the little head on top of the bristle. What else you want to make sure you're using a paddle brush that really has support. So when you put that paddle brush onto that hair, it kind of gives a little bit because it has that cushion there. So keep that in mind when you're buying a hairbrush. Buy a quality hairbrush. Just want to say the stylist doing an excellent job. The hair is nice and silky. You can see there's some flow and the hair is weightless. That's really good. So it shows you that she knows her stuff. And one thing I want to make a point out of too, you notice right before she started blow drying, we were talking about the hair serum. So basically when you're doing hair and you want to infuse that product into the hair, it's a really good idea to put what you need into the hair while the hair is wet. So once the hair is finished shampooing and conditioning, you want to put those leave-ins into the hair, and that really helps strengthen the hair, that really helps nourish the hair, and overall it keeps the hair in a good, healthy shape. So let's finish this up and see what else she's doing.
So as you can see, her hair stretched really well. It blowed out pretty well, and it has a really good sheen to it. So it definitely is some healthy hair up in there. But now that it's completely blowed out, really the worst part of it is the ends. You see that? You can see right through it. It's very, very sparse. So
yeah, I totally agree with her. Those ends, let me go back a little bit. Okay, those ends right there, you see how she uses her hand to prop up under the hair, and you can see through that hair. Those ends need to go, because a matter of time, those ends gonna end up splitting, and you come back 3 weeks to a month later, you're gonna be able to see right through the hair. You won't even have those ends, what's left on there. So just be mindful, when you see those ends occurring that way, go to a stylist or whosoever you're going through, or even if you're doing it yourself, cut those ends off. You don't need them. They're causing more damage than you think.
Part of it is the ends. You see that? You can see right through it. It's very, very sparse. So it's cool. We're just going to blow dry the rest of this and see how it is. And I'm also going to make sure that her hair is heavy enough on the sides to give her the bob that she asked for.
I'm gonna point out something. Let me go back a little bit. Okay, you notice the stylist, she has that powder brush and she's blow drying the hair, but she's pulling the hair with that brush. So keep that in mind when we're trying to straighten the hair at the root area. You want to make sure that brush has enough tension to grab that hair and pull while that blow dry is on it, so you can get that elasticity to pull out a little bit more to be able to make that hair more manageable when you get ready to style it. So man, she's doing a good job, man. I love it.
Yes, for her. So now that it's all blown out, as you can see, it's a little thin on the sides too. So her bob would have to be a little shorter than most bobs that I do, but that's not a problem because I like short bobs. They look super heavy and healthy. And you see the back, usually when people ask for a bob, the back is always the heaviest, but that's really the part of the hair that has to go, and the sides is the part that needs to be there. So that always makes it tough to make a bob, but I'm gonna work it out. She also wanted a part on the opposite side, but her hair just happens to be a little heavier on one side in the front than the other. So I'm just going to part it on the...
I just want to point out, she just said, sometimes the hair does be a little heavy on one side, either on the left or either on the right side of the head. Sometimes it's around the crescent of the head. What that could come from if you're not aware of it, it depends on what side you're sleeping on the most, you know. So if for years you sleep on the left side, the hair is going to be a little thinner on that side, also even the right side. So just keep that in mind, that when you wonder why the hair is the way it is, it's just, at the end of the day, it's the way you sleep right before you go to bed. And you just create that posture of that type of hair. But just keep in mind, it's a good idea to sleep on both sides, you know, if you can. But sometimes we just don't sleep like that.
Let me see, it's on her left, but as you're watching, it's on your right. I'm going to part it over there so that the weight of it all can just flow to the other side. I'm gonna go in with the hot comb and get those edges nice and smooth that the blow dryer couldn't necessarily get, so everything can be nice and even for the cut.
Okay, I want to point out something there too. That's a great idea that she's mentioning, that she's displaying, that she's using a hot comb. But that just lets you know she's old school. She's been in the game for a little while. If you're not familiar with that, I say just leave that alone. You don't want to burn those edges out. If you look at her client right there, her client has some really good edges, pretty much full, and that's a blessing right there. So I say if you're not familiar with those hot combs, take a flat iron and put it on the right heat setting, and then you can pinch the hair while you're flat ironing, but going in the backwards direction. Pinch the hair, grip the hair, take the flat iron, hit it, run it through, and go backwards in a backwards direction. You'll get the same result. All right, let's continue on.
As you can see, her hair also grows really low down on her neck, and I like to grab everything that I can, but I also don't want to stress my clients out.
For real, you don't want to have that client think you're gonna burn them.
I'm gonna do what I can, but it's no big deal. Now I'm just parting out the first section to get ready for this cut. So I'm taking my her strands of hair shears. Why did I get tongue-tied? Her strands of hair shears, and I'm just gonna go in for the first section. Okay, next question. I'm also a Philly native, left there some 20 years ago for NYC. Now want to go to LA. What challenges did you have to overcome as far as moving, housing, finding work, etc.? I'm sick of the cold weather and the people. I definitely need a change. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was super hard to adjust when I moved from Philly to LA. I honestly had just went through a bad breakup. I was far away from my family and my salon, and my main friend who lived in LA had to move to Atlanta for work literally the week after I got there. I was broke, and it was just such a strain. It took me about 3 years to get back on my feet, but honestly, it just took a lot of prayer, hard work, and faith to get to this very amazing point.
While she's talking, fam, we just want to look at something real quick. Right now, she's cutting the hair, and you notice where she's cutting the hair, she's built a guide. When I say a guide, she started at the bottom, and then she cut the bottom of the hair into a straight line. And then after that, she parted the hair again, and she overlapped the hair on top of it. What she's doing, when she overlapped the hair, she made sure that she made the hair thin enough that it was transparent, that she could see through the other side of the hair that she combed down over that previous cut. And that's what you want to do when you're cutting the hair. You want to make sure that you have a guide at some point on the bottom, and then once you part the hair, you comb over, and then you cut it again. And you repeat the process. At the end, you have a favorable haircut.
Point I'm at now in my life. So basically, I just had to start over. Starting over is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you just have to regain everything that you built somewhere else. It wasn't bad because I had Instagram and YouTube that directed.
So you see what I'm saying? How she combed the hair over and she repeated the process. You see how clean it looks. She has exactly what she had up under the hair, what she's doing on top of the hair. So all the hair is fitting in all together at one length.
People to meet in LA, so that worked out really well for me. But it's hard, but it's not a deal breaker. I would do it all over again if I had to. So I don't want to say any of that to discourage you. I just want to give you faith to know that you can still kill it no matter how hard it may seem. Just keep going and never give up. I know that sounds cliche, but that's literally the gist of it. So as you can see, it's a bit asymmetrical. She wants it slanted, so we got a little shorter in the back and longer in the front. It's also going to be a tiny bit shorter on the super thin side than it is on the fuller side, but it's still going to look great. So while I'm layering, let's do another question. What would you suggest for people who are not able to access good salonists where they are? Can I grow my hair without having to visit a salon and have my hair trimmed? Because so many times my hair has been messed up and I'm scared of going back. Okay, so yes, you absolutely can take care of your hair at home. All you have to do is come up with a bi-weekly hair regimen and just stick to it. Use good products. Wrap it every night with silk or satin. And yes, you definitely have to have your ends trimmed at least once every 3 months, even if you have to learn how to do it yourself. A lot of people ask me, can I teach y'all how to trim your own hair? And I think I'm definitely going to do a video trimming mine to help you with some tips.
I just want to say I totally agree with her, the stylist. Definitely, if you're really not familiar or you don't trust going to a hair salon, or with the area you're in, you may not even know a good hair salon. Maybe you're new to town, or maybe you just had a bad situation, here and there, wherever you came from. It just seemed like you always run into that type of situation. So I definitely agree with her. I co-sign that, yeah, you could do your hair at home. Just make sure you find the right products, the right tools. The right tools is the right comb, the right flat iron, curl iron, the right blow dryer, things like that. Definitely the right hair care products. Make sure you're using a premium product. Sometimes we don't really look at that. We think that the style is more important than the health of the hair. But no, it's the other way around. The health of the hair is more important than the style. So just keep that in mind. Just make sure you get good advice before you start taking care of your hair at home, because you can start a lot of breakage and now you got a problem. And then you're gonna wanna come and see someone like her or someone like me. All right, let's move on. I love the way she's notching that hair. She's putting those notches in there. It creates more of a softer look when she layered the hair, that it won't be so much of that heavy weight look on the ends when those layers are laying. So she's just notching out that heavy straight line. She's doing a really good job. I love it.
Now it's time to go in with the heat and smooth this hair right on out. So I am going in with my 22 titanium iron. I know they're not in stock and they will be. I think I'm gonna do these after the holidays so they won't get caught up in the holiday traffic. I think I'm gonna do it after the.
Let's talk a little bit about that iron she just mentioning. She's using a titanium iron. Those irons, they're pretty good irons. But one thing I could say about it, if you're really doing your hair at home, you got to be careful, because those titanium irons can be a little bit too hot for the hair. And sometimes at home, when you're not very educated to what you're doing, you can overuse those irons, and you think you got to get up every morning and you got to hit your hair to make it look fresh. But at the end of the day, you got to be very careful, because those irons could cause a very bad situation for you. They become very detrimental, as I want to say. For someone at home, my best advice to give you is to use more of a ceramic flat iron. And not saying they're safer, but you get more of a less strenuous heat on the hair because it's coated with ceramic versus those titanium plates. Because them titanium plates, they get very hot. So keep that in mind.
The holiday. I'm still trying to decide, but I'll let you guys know soon. And I am going to do it on the temperature of 410 and 1 pass. So just do 1 pass over each section of hair to avoid heat damage, especially if you're doing your hair at home. 1 pass is all you're going to need. If you wear your hair straight more than your natural curls, it is safe to put heat in your hair every 3 to 4 weeks, as long as you or whoever's pressing your hair knows what they're doing or what you are doing. Make sure you use a good heat protectant, only use one pass, and use smaller pieces of hair just to make sure it's straight the first time, so that you won't end up going over your hair too many times with the heat, because then it's going to break down the bond. Some people...
Now, again, I totally agree with her with that. You want to make sure when you're flat ironing your hair, if you want a long-lasting silk press or a long-lasting straightener, part the hair a little bit thinner. You have some clients that may not want that. They want more of a thicker setting of the hair. So you have to give them what they desire. You part the hair a little bit thicker on the parting itself and just flat iron, in a continuous thickness of the base of the hair. But if they have that client that really want that hair silky straight for weeks and weeks and weeks, definitely you want to part that hair very thin. That'll elongate that elasticity, that curl pattern of the hair, give them a longer press, and they keep the maintenance going with a leave-in while they home with a nightly, daily use of the product. All right, let's get back to the video.
Don't care about their natural texture, but you still want it to also be as full as possible, and your natural texture will cause that to happen. If you wear your hair natural more than straight, then it's more safe to just press your hair maybe once or twice a year. If you want it done more than that, it's okay. You certainly can, but the safest way to just not touch your curls at all, once or twice a year is best. When you are pressing the bang or the frame area, I like to always press towards the front. Although I put a part in it to begin with, that was just more so for the cut. But when I press it, I like to just pull it forward, because honestly, it gives her the freedom to be able to put the part wherever she wants to. So that's a little trick. If you don't press a part in it, it won't be there permanently until she washes it. And that is so annoying when you can't get that one part out.
Hey y'all, she dropping knowledge, pay attention. She was saying that if you want that part not to retain in the hair, you just take the hair forward as a bang area, and you just go in with the flat iron and smooth that out into just one area, basically, by going forward. Instead of parting the hair and presetting the hair with a part, then you flat iron and you begin to seal that in that way.
So last we're going to add that Glassberry and Shine so it can be silky and shiny for the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to wrap it and put her under the dryer. Let's do one more question.
All right, check it out. So she was saying at the end you want to take some type of shine on the hair, as well as shine. That's also a sealer. And what I mean by the sealer, it helps seal that hair shaft up, that where every day she gets up, she could put that product on her hair, and it keep her hair looking nice as it did the first day she entered and exit out of the salon. So definitely at home, you want to make sure you use a good sealer, a good molder, a good heat protector as well. All right, let's get back to the video.
How can I get rid of fairy knots? I'm a male with 4C hair, and it's tough with these knots in my head. I ain't even tender-headed, and the rips I hear cause me physical and emotional pain. Okay, I would say start by sleeping on a satin pillowcase, because with cotton, you may be chafing your hair follicles and creating knots. You can also braid or twist your hair before bedtime. Make sure you're using a microfiber towel and blot your hair with it. Don't rub. Make sure you're getting regular trims and also use the right product with moisture. You always want to make sure that your hair is moisturized so that combs and brushes can slip through the hair instead of causing tangles.
I'm looking at something really quick here. You notice she's using a processing cap on the hair, and what she's doing, she's setting the client up to make sure she's reducing the frizz, and make sure her hair have a better mold at the end of the service. But really be careful right here. If you're at home, you're doing this, that you can't really see where you're going. What she's tying that knot on the end of the processing cap. You want to make sure you don't get none of your hair strands entangled in that, because if you do, and once you take the hair and you comb it down after the minutes, whatever, however that cap is gonna be on. So just really be careful when you putting that process cap on the hair, that you don't have to go back and use the fret down again. I just want to say really quick, I love what she did, but me as a stylist, we have our own thing going on. So definitely I love the way she put the cap on, the processing cap, and she took it off. My opinion, what I would have done after I put the processing cap on the hair, I would have took a spandex cap and I would have put it over the plastic cap, and I would have let her set for a little while. Now, when I say a little while, it depends on the client, what she knows her client best. If she know her client is a person that perspires, a person that sweats, definitely you don't want to leave that processing cap on the hair too long, because you could sweat out the silk press or sweat out the straightening that she did. But I think you get better results if you put a processing cap on top of the hair, well as you take a spandex cap and put it on top of the processing cap, so you could get that molding, that squeeze, and let that hair just sit for a little while. Or maybe I say let's sit for a little while, but I just want to give you more of a time frame. I say if you are a person that perspires, I'll let you sit on there maybe 3 to 5 minutes. If you're a person that really don't perspires, I may put you up on a warm hooded dryer and I may let you set for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then come back and pull it off. You have some amazing results. Frizz-free, flawless, flowing hair. If you know my thing, as I always say, if the hair don't swing, it don't mean a thing. All right, let's get back to the video, fam.
It's just the healthier hair making a debut.
I'll say too as well, we noticed around her nape area there was a lot of hair that's growing down, trailing her neck, and she has a bob. I would say if you decided you want to go to a bob from long hair, I'd say kind of keep your hairlines trimmed up, kind of cut that hair, trim the hair up a little bit further with some clippers or some shavers or whatever, that you could be able to build that hairline up a lot stronger when it comes to that bob. Because we see right now with the bob that there's some hair, excess hair that's coming down her neck, and we wanted to look a little more attractive. So my opinion, my recommendation, take a pair of hair clippers you got at home, or either ask your stylist, trim that hair up on your neck, that you don't see all that excess hair that maybe could take away the excellence of the bob. So just keep that in mind, clean that thing up.
So all she has to do is wrap her hair up every night with a silk or satin scarf, and that's going to keep her hair in place and nice and healthy. And she also has to make sure that she gets her hair trimmed again every couple of months, just to keep those fresh ends nice and solid all the way from root to tip. And other than that, I think she's on a great road to recovery, and I'm going to make sure that she stays up on it, because she was, neglecting it for a while, but her hair is looking good.
That hair is fly. Look all that volume she has, that body she built into the hair. I tell you all, that cut mean everything. She hooked it up. It's very nice. All right, well, one thing I want to say, a little bit of just corrective criticism, but it's all good. You know, we all family at the end of the day. I would say when she just pulled her cape off, that looked like, I would think that she would have had a neck strip on the client's neck. We big on that as stylists. It just gives a little more sanitation, a little more awareness that the client see what you're doing, that you're practicing sanitation habits. And at the end of the day, it's a video. It could have been that was just a fresh cape out of the washer and dryer, and she just used that for the segment of the video. But just keep in mind, if you are in this salon, and then just pay attention if you notice your stylist is using that same cape on every client, in which we do. We go through different capes and different size capes and things like that we use it multiple times, but it's fine. As long as you're using a neck strip to place around that client's neck, that you could transfer that cape to the next client without the client picking up something off the cape from that previous client. So keep that in mind. All right, fam. This is Mike James checking out. But keep in mind, if you got any videos that you want to send for me to look at, hey, send them to me. I think she did an awesome job. I really appreciate to even watch another stylist doing such an awesome job on the hair. But we're checking out. I'm Mike James with Intro Reacts. Catch you on the rebound. See you.